Jumping straight into the tutorial, I like to start my everyday makeup look with my brows, and I do use a pencil for my brows. This is the ColourPop one. I love it because it does have a spoolie attached to it. I do start by setting my brows with a little bit of setting powder. This is the Luscious by Lynn setting powder, and I like to do this because it just cuts back on oil, especially because I do draw my brows on or usually use pomade. You don't want them to look greasy and like nasty throughout the day, so this to just make sure they're like nice and matte. Now as far as concealing my brows, I take my Morphe 224 brush, and I love it because it gets really flat and it's perfect for concealer. You want to take your time and make sure that line is nice and straight, and I buff it out with another Morphe brush. All the products will be listed down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. After I buff in that concealer underneath my brow, I just like to put concealer all over my lids and pat that into my eyelid and then set that. If you don't want to use eyeshadow or anything like that, this is just a great, way to just make sure everything comes together. You don't want it to look like your eyelid don't have any product on it. And I do all of this before I do my face makeup. I know that may sound weird, but I don't like applying lashes when I have my face makeup on, because sometimes I mess up, because we all mess up, you know what I'm saying? So if I need to touch my face and like grab my eye or like whatever, I won't have to mess up anything. Like I'll be able to do that easily. So that's why I like to do this before putting my face makeup on. After I set my eyelids, I like to draw just a straight line of eyeliner right above my lash line. So when I set my lashes on top, it'll just make it look nice and neat and seamless. Now I'm just going to add some mascara and put on my lashes. I like to apply a thin layer of glue on top of that eyeliner I just did, so that it's easier when I put my lashes on top. It'll make sure to be on my lash line and not like in my eye. Like, you know how that inner corner is just, oh god, it's the worst thing ever in life. So that's like really helps me put my lashes on way easier, especially like with the bigger eyelashes and stuff. Good god, it helps a lot. While I wait for my lashes to get a little tacky after the glue, I start on my face, which is a primer. I saw this TikTok where this primer was being used like on the back of someone, or on the inside of someone's hand, and it like blurred the crap out of the lines on the hand. So like I had to try it, and it actually blurs really nicely. So I make sure to rub it and then press it into my face and into my skin. I just literally love the way it makes my skin feel, makes it looks. It's almost comparable to the Becca poreless primer, something like that. The Becca one that's really good. So I do recommend this, and you can find this on Amazon. For foundation, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Matte Foundation. This is in 336. I only use a few pumps because this is like a not like full coverage look, but I do like it because it is a buildable foundation. So I use a wet beauty blender, make sure it's nice and damp, and I just press, pat that into the skin. Any blemishes, like as you can see, I got a lot of acne scars, so I make sure to press it really good into those spots. I'll put a little bit extra foundation if needed. It's really up to you, but I do like those spots to be covered to look a lot more flawless. So like I said, just press it into the skin. Take your time. It does dry down very matte. I love this foundation, and it's really affordable. This foundation is kind of orange on my skin tone, but I use cool tones, contour and concealer and powder to take that orange tone out of my foundation. It'll all come together at the end, so just trust the process. As you can see, I'm using this cooler tone True Match foundation as a contour. So if you want like a more natural looking contour, not like, okay, you just, you know, your cheekbones is popping type of thing, but like that could actually be your skin kind of contour, I would definitely recommend just use a deeper toned foundation because it blends in way easier than if you were to use cream contour or like just powder. So I like to do this because it just makes it look really seamless after you blend everything together, as you will see at the end, and it helps get rid of flashback in my opinion. Any time I contour, I'm doing both cream and powder, not just powder. So this is a really big step that I like to do on clients and myself. And yeah, just I use a brush even if I'm doing a more natural face, I use a brush because it just, I don't know, just pressing it in makes it look like skin. Now using that same concealer by LA Girl, I am just using a very small minimal amount of concealer under my eyes and my highlighted zones, just making sure it's not too crazy. After I blend in all my concealer, I use that same setting powder I used on my lids earlier, and I just like to set my under eyes and everything. I don't bake usually with a natural face. I just like to press this right into the skin. I'm not gonna say that baking helps tremendously with me for my oily skin, so I haven't been finding myself doing that lately. Just pressing it in lightly and putting on a generous amount of setting spray has been helping a lot more than baking to me, and I feel like baking always causes me to have quite a bit of flashback. But if you press your setting powder in first, like how I'm doing here, and then put more on top to bake, I feel like it's easier to dust it off, because I had been finding myself getting the baking powder like stuck on the dry patches of my face. So I like doing this step before I do anything else with powder. Then I'm taking my contour powder shade right after that and going right into my parts of my cheekbones and everything where I contoured at before. This is just a tad bit darker than my skin tone again, and I'm just pressing that right into the skin. It just makes it look really nice and snatched. I then just add a little bit of mascara to my bottom lashes, and I also add my highlight right after that. I add it before and after setting my face, so my highlight like pops more. So I'll like add highlight, and then I'll spray some setting spray, and then I'll add more, and it just like shines really different. I love it. And I use my Sunkissed Glow Kit from Anastasia. Now I'm gonna dip into this blush palette. I actually picked this up at a hair show I went to in Chicago. I definitely recommend getting this. This has a really nice orange tone that I love to use on my skin tone, so definitely check it out. And now I just like to add some gloss to finish off my face. I don't add liner or anything usually because this is like a everyday kind of look. This gloss is really pink and it just matches perfect with my lips. And lastly, for my favorite setting spray by Morphe, it's like a mist, and I really like it. The way it applies better than the other setting sprays I've used.
I will never think I'm